don't want to review this. I don't want to review this. Why? Why am I reviewing this? Hey everybody, it's Saberspark, and today we're doing a quick review for Arctic Dogs.
Arctic Dogs.
You know, I knew about this movie, like from a few months ago. I had some folks message me about it saying, hey, keep your eyes open for this one. Seems to be right up your alley. It's poorly animated and furry.
Oh, I'm not blind.
I have no one to blame but myself. But real talk, I was going to skip this movie. Figured I would go check it out when it was streaming or when it was available on video. But this movie has failed on such a tremendous level that I simply could not ignore it. According to these sources, Arctic Dogs is the worst performing movie of all time. It cost $50 million to make, and it only made $3.5 million back its opening weekend. That is terrible. So of course I had to go see it. Also, I wanted to see what happened when the cold brew hit. So the studio behind this film is Assemblage Entertainment, which is the same company who did Norm of the North back in 2016. Yeah, those guys. Now, Norm of the North actually made money back at the box office. It cost like $18 million to make and made about $30 million. Arctic Dogs, on the other hand, like I said, cost $50 million to make, which is ridiculous. I don't know where the money went to. No, you know what? No, I take that back. I know where it went to. It went to the voice actors. You got like Jeremy Renner, whatever, however you say his name, Hawkeye. You got Heidi Klum, Alec Baldwin, James Franco as James Franco, of course. And then you got John Cleese, who, to be fair, looked like he actually tried in this movie. Alec Baldwin did not try. He didn't care. Heidi Klum, you kind of phoned it in. Jeremy, it was okay. And again, James Franco just being himself. I don't even know if he knew that he was being recorded.
James Franco.
So, Saberspark, what's the movie about? Well, I'm so glad you asked. So the movie's about Swifty, this Arctic fox with the dreams of becoming a sleigh dog. A sleigh puller, I think that's the term, who delivers these important packages to their Arctic town of North. But here's the thing, Swifty is a tiny fox and not a big dog. And despite training his entire life to become an Arctic dog, he was never strong enough. So he's stuck at his job every year, trying out to be a Arctic sleigh dog puller thing, whatever, but keeps being turned down.
No promotion for you this year. I run serious business.
He's got his bird friend, he's got his bear friend, he's got his fox girl love interest, he's got his caribou boss, I guess, who's like a Russian spy. Not a Russian spy, but it's heavily implied she was part of the KGB, and I mean that. And then you have these other three dogs who are like the heroes and the stars of the company, the ones who pull the sleighs and are like what the town look up to. It kind of reminds me of Zootopia in that regard, where like in Zootopia, you got Judy who wants to become a cop, but she has to overcome being small and tiny and herbivore in a world of tigers and bears and rhinos who are usually cops. Okay, story, if you do this right, it can be an effective plot. So what else you got?
Ah, that smell! It's like the planet made a poopy.
There's a second part of the plot. It's about global warming. Yeah. So you got this walrus villain who, for some reason, he got turned down for being an engineer, so he hates the world for it. And he then started to work at the same company the fox works at. And he was working there like years before the fox did, but he got fired by the caribou because he had this invention of using, okay, here we go, follow me here, gas from the center of the earth to power his delivery machine. So now, in the current story, he wants to release these toxic fumes to melt the ice caps because he hates the world? And he also has these puffins, which are clearly minions, which the studio did before with like the lemmings in Norm of the North. So, f you, Assemblage, or Assembly, or whatever your dumb name of your company is.
What could possibly go wrong?
And there's other logical problems here. Like, I know I'm getting into specifics for folks who haven't seen the movie, so it's hard for them to understand what I'm talking about. But like, for example, the movie starts off with Swifty being like, nobody notices me, I just blend right in. Which is like, that's your problem, dude. You're wearing a white coat with your white fur. No wonder why people don't notice you. Wear a red jacket. And then you got this other thing where the walrus John Cleese guy is like, I need an engineer to build my machines. So he like kidnaps this fox girl who's an engineer to build his stuff. Why do you need her help? And then this is the part that gets me the most. Here we go, folks. Like I said, there's two parts of the story. The fox guy, Swifty, trying to become the delivery dog, and then the entire global warming machine thing. The two stories were completely unrelated for the longest time in the movie, where, and honest to God, I thought, how can you even connect these stories? They're so different. They both have these weird directions they're going in. This is how they do it. The puffins randomly kidnap the dogs, and that means the Arctic fox had to step in to deliver the packages, which took him to the headquarters where the villain and the puffins were, and in a way got him involved with their nefarious scheme and him trying to stop them. Yeah, that's how. It doesn't make any sense. The story's confusing, the characters are pretty boring and not interesting either, and then there's just a ton of poop and fart jokes, and I just... To me, those kind of jokes are so lowbrow, and you only do it to get the kids in the audience to laugh. So, cheap laughs, shame on you. Be better than that.
Poopy!
Okay, how about the animation? Honestly, I didn't think it was that bad. When you look at these reviews on Twitter and the internet with Arctic Fox or Dogs, whatever this dumb movie's called, you've got folks saying, oh, it's the worst movie ever made. It's garbage. It looks god-awful. So maybe it's just me, because relative to me, I've seen much worse stuff. But even then, like, I see this movie as a step below Illumination. So below average. That's how I would describe the visuals. Because the folks who made this movie aren't completely incompetent. Because I see the fur effects, I see the clothes effects, I see some of the movement. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't look that bad. It's actually kind of okay. But then I see the lip syncs and how they completely miss their mark at times. And there's other moments where like, I notice some frames of animation drop or kind of chug where it seems like the characters skip a beat. It's hard to explain. I need to get like a visual example from the movie to show you all what I'm talking about. But there was something going on where the animation like slows down a bit and it was really bizarre. Also, the action in the movie, incredibly boring. The climactic action scene at the end, where there's like a chase scene and then a battle, so static and boring, and the camera shots are just aimed at the quote-unquote action, but I feel nothing. It's slow and boring, and I'm just not interested in the visuals on an action level. Like, you have this poor music trying to bring out these emotions of panic and of, oh my gosh, the urgency of what's going on, but the visuals don't match it whatsoever.
Incoming!
At the end of the day, though, I would say this movie is below average. Like, to me, the Emoji Movie is much worse. And Food Fight, which is like one of the worst movies ever made, that, compared to this, Food Fight is 1,000 times worse. So Arctic Dogs, on a theatrical level, yeah, you're pretty bad. But compared to like other streamed movies or things on videos, I'd say you're like average. There are times when you're kind of painful and very boring, but I wouldn't say that you're utter trash like other things I've seen on my channel. I just don't understand why this movie was released in theaters. That was such a greedy, awful move, didn't make sense, and they're gonna pay out the nose for it. Because a lot of folks were like saying to me on Twitter, I never even heard of this movie. I had no idea it even existed. And that's a problem. You need better advertising. Or better yet, better planning with how you want to release these films. Either make a better product and invest in it to push it for your audiences to see, or reel it back in and lower your sights for a streaming service or releasing it straight to video. But yeah, you f***ed up. You made bad decisions, and this is the final product, and now you all are going to pay for it. So, yep, that's Arctic Fox. I say Arctic Fox, that's not even the name of the movie. This movie had 2 different names at one point. It was like Polar Justice or Arctic Justice, and then Polar Express. Not Polar Express. It was, oh God, what was it called? Polar Squad, that's right. Okay, it doesn't matter. Movie still sucks. Arctic Dogs still sucks, and I guess we all can watch in horror as this thing crashes and burns. Oh, I gotta talk about the furry porn joke. There was this thing going around about how the reason why this movie failed was because there wasn't enough furry porn from it. And that some producer said that from the movie, but it's been proven false. The person who made that tweet said I was just joking, but I do wonder if the producers are like, damn it, there should be more E621 of this. We're going to lose our money. Like every movie's success depends on how much porn there is of it. Internet, never change.